Surprise, people. Welcome back to the channel of Bangers and Bullets, and today we are talking about if I had to grab 3 guns and run, what would they be? Now we got multiple guns, here in the gun safe, and but these are just the 3 that I like the most. I would actually probably trade out my AR-15 for a AR pistol, which we currently in the process of working on. But welcome back to Bangers and Bullets, where we are back with another banger Dundini. We are back and we are at it again. So real quick, man, welcome to the channel. We just want to do a quick, disclaimer. Firearms discussion for lawful purposes, training and preparedness. We are not encouraging violence or illegal activity. This is about platform roles, like not fantasy scenarios. Preparedness. We're talking about reliability, familiarity, logistics, and responsibility. If you had to simplify your firearm lineup while staying versatile, this is where this trio makes sense, right? So why 3 platforms instead of 1? Like, no single firearm does everything great, right? We all know that, right? You can't stretch the 9mm out to 500 yards, right? So we know that's not going to be the one platform that's going to do everything well, right? But preparedness likes to favor redundancy, common calibers, proven designs, ease of support, and maintenance, right? Because maintenance, is key, right? AR-15s are cool and easy to maintain, but I think for me, an AK-47 is better to maintain and easier. So on our channel, we've shown different rifles, how they shine in different conditions. Personal familiarity matters more than hype, right? So, the trio, I guess, for us would be a primary rifle platform, which probably will be the AR-15, right? America's rifle. That's not what it stands for. We know that. We get that. Secondary rifle platform would be the AK-47. And the 9mm, obviously would be the handgun platform, right? It's not about the best. It's about coverage, right? So we talk about the AR-15, the 16-inch rifle, the one you see in the back. And why it makes sense, right? It's one of the most common civilian rifles in America, right? A huge ecosystem of magazines and parts and accessories, plus a balanced configuration, maneuverable but still efficient. There's no, exotic setup or Gucci type of setup that's actually required when you're in a survival state. You need to grab 3 guns and run, right? I want to reference past AR content on our channel, range day reliability videos and AR build and, different review discussions. But consistent performance over long range sessions is what, the AR and the AK is about, but the AR more important, right? We want to talk about the ease of cleaning and basic upkeep. Viewers often comment like, my AR, runs the same setup or different things like that. Like, I got those PMags and ammo stock because we done some videos about stock and ammo, right? And so it's simplicity overly, specialized builds, right? Overly specialized builds. That's not what it's about. Super specialized builds. I can strip my AR down to the basic necessities and run it. And that's what's out. A plain, well understood ARB's complicated setups that you barely shoot. You just look at them, right? So that's why the AR would be in the 3 guns and run setup. So the AK pattern rifle, with our folding stock, simplicity and durability, right? So why an AK still earns a place? Its legendary reputation for mechanical simplicity, functioning in less than ideal conditions, right? And that means in rain, snow, swamp, mud, desert, right? It's gonna function. It's gonna run and gun, man. Knock them and drop them. You dig what I'm saying? The folding stock benefits, man. That's so it can easily slip, in a backpack, right? We want to be a gray man running, through the city, with everybody else blending in, right? We might have to drop the AR and, depend on the AK and the handgun. Right, we're gonna have to sling the AR over the shoulder, and people are gonna be able to see that, right? We're gonna stand out with that. So if it's in a gray situation where we have to be a gray man in the SHTF, then we definitely going with the AK-47 and the handgun. We're gonna have to drop one, right? Until we get the ARP, or until we run across somebody, scrounging through the city. We're gonna find somebody with a PCC or an ARP or something like that, right? So the folded stock benefits, right? Easier storage, transport convenience, right? Long history of civilian ownership worldwide. That AK ain't no joke, right? A lot of people got AR-15s. I would say probably mostly everybody has, a 5.56 or 2.23 platform. But I would say most of the Americans also have the AK-47 in the lineup somewhere. So somebody's going to be walking around out there in the gray man, grid down SHTF situation with a 7.62 by 39, right? So the AK reliability, there's discussions all over the internet, right? Ammo testing and range impressions. You talk about AKs continuing to run during long, dirty range days, minimal maintenance between sessions, right? People always are talking about the AK-47, right? Especially if you check out, the AK-47 local union. That guy is real cool talking about that, right? So it's not about precision competition, but it's about confidence and function. Straightforward manual of arms, right? Just to being able to depend on it. So when people talk about a peace of mind, this platform comes up a lot, and for a reason. You know what I mean? So the 9mm handgun, we're talking about practicality and everyday reality, right? The most common handgun caliber, right? So when we out there running and gunning and being a gray man, and it's going to be 9mm is going to be easier to find, right? It's easier to train with. It's cost effective. It's manageable recoil for most shooters, right? Even kids shoot 9mm. You talk about the YNs out there. You know what I mean? Like they busting 9mm, right? So 9mm bullet is going to be easily to be found in gray grid down situations, right? It's a wide variety of reliable handgun options, right? So the familiarity beats chasing down the newest model, right? 9mm is 9mm, right? Consistent performance across different pistols, right? Handguns are often what people train with the most, right? So for finding some 9mm shells is gonna be the thing, so preparedness framing, handguns fit real life, right? Training classes, range time, lawful carry where permitted. If you're honest with yourself, this firearm is most, the people actually use and practice with, right? So why this works together, right? So caliber and platform diversity without being excessive. Each firearm fills a different role. So overlapping the strengths without redundancy. Common themes are proven designs, massive user base, easy to support long-term, tie back, to just every situation that we've ever run across, whether it's illegality or legal shoots or however you look at it, you're gonna be able to find some of these, right? So what this setup is not, it's not a movie scenario loadout, right? It's not a replacement for medical training, food and water planning, communications, physical fitness. The firearms are just one piece of preparedness, right? So we want to reinforce safe storage, right? Being a legal and responsible firearm owner, legal compliance, ongoing training, right? So we just want to say that preparedness is personal, right? This trio reflects availability, familiarity, reliability. We don't need everything. We just need what we understand and know how to maintain, right? So if you had to limit yourself to 3 firearms for preparedness, what would your lineup look like and why? Which platform do you personally trust the most? AR, AK, or a handgun? Or what made you be the most confident? So make sure that you like, subscribe, share, comment. We'll talk about some other things here in the future, but I want to shout out to everybody who's doing the hashtag 3GunsAndRun videos. Shout out to everybody out there, man. I'm not from this planet. Big Dre Trey 57, Eyes and Ears Tactical, Citizen 2A Citizen, Gorillas in the Mist. Man, just shout out to everybody out there in the gun tuber world making these videos, because without us, the people wouldn't be familiar with what we're working with, man. And with that, I just want to say, man, I appreciate everybody, man. Shout out to all the channels that's out there putting in the work. Thank you for, all your work. all the praise, all the honor, and the glory goes to the Most High. With that, I want to say peace.